Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm going to share a really powerful practice today, a specific practice you can use very specifically in your life, referent to your relationships. Relationships are one of the areas really that we can derive the most fulfillment in our life, but also that can trigger us the most and create the most discord. So having a leverage point, a tool that you can apply to specifically shift and open up your relationships is really, really powerful. So stay tuned for this. We're going to dive in, and thank you for everyone who is joining live. I would love to hear, where are you tuning in from? And for those of you, hello on Instagram, I would love to hear from you as well. For those listening to the podcast or watching the recording, hello to you. I am a physician sharing about mind-body medicine, how our mind affects our body, how they are interconnected, how our body heals itself, and how the physical form in our body is really functioning on the template of our consciousness. Our consciousness affects our physicality and our health. So that's really like the greatest leverage point for us to make shifts and changes. So hello, Kelly from Boston. Woohoo! I actually grew up with Kelly. Hello, Kelly. Someone in Facebook from Nevada, Esther from France, Louisa from Montreal, someone in Facebook from Pennsylvania, from Canada, Minnesota, Houston, hello, New York, Arizona, Colorado, hello, Heidi, Shia, Jamie, Melissa. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hello to everybody here on Instagram as well. All right, so I'm going to jump in, and if you haven't seen the other broadcast we did this month, it's Thanksgiving month here in US in November, and that's really a great time to remember how powerful the practice of gratitude is in our lives. So from a physician standpoint, I love to share the science of that, because we do have a lot of science, a lot of studies, a lot of really great research that's showing our body is an electromagnetic field. We emit an electromagnetic field, and that, it's an energy field. Energy has a frequency. And so that frequency is going to reflect our own consciousness, our own emotions, whether we're in a fluid space of accepting ourselves as we are, or we're in a resistant space of closure and fight, judgment, clamping down and resisting ourselves. And all of this has a really direct effect on our physiology. And so what I've seen as a physician is that for people who are sick and not getting better, or having weird conundrums of illness that no one understands, or living in pain, anxiety, depression, the most essential leverage point where we can really make a shift is in shifting our consciousness, in shifting our frequency. And so if you have been challenged in your relationships, either like maybe one relationship is just always like really glitchy, or you're realizing like all your relationships could be more awesome. You're not feeling the fulfillment. You're not feeling like you're free and accepted to express yourself. And this is creating discord for you. This is going to be a really powerful practice. So when we shift our electromagnetics, either specifically referent to another person, like, oh, I just can't stand my neighbor or my mother or my whoever, and it glitches your system, or we make shifts in general, all of it will always affect every relationship we're in. And that's because as humans, we are electromagnetically sensitive. Whether you're empathic or not, and you consider yourself to be consciously aware of the energy of other people, you are for sure at least unconsciously aware of and reacting and responding to the energy around you. And so what that means is, like, say there's a person in your life who's really crabby or giving you a hard time or attacking you, or like that ex who just won't go away and is always like creating chaos in your life. You can actually change the way they show up for you. every human being has the capacity to like express their dark side or express their lighter side. Even like the worst person in the world has some, what do we call it? Like a spectrum of light and dark within them. And if you shift what's in you electromagnetically, you're literally going to shift the way you experience that person more into their lightness, more into their kindness, more into their being able to understand you, more into their treating you with respect as opposed to like maybe vehemently attacking you. So it is quite a massive shift that you can begin to see when you tap into what's happening within yourself. Alvin said, I feel stuck because I can't make a decision and my anxiety is increasing because of it. It's like I can't accept the situation I'm in, maybe because of fear or attachment, and my mind becomes paralyzed. So this will be a great exercise for you to do, even if that's not specifically around relationship, because it will be shifting your frequency. And so those first two videos I did from MindBody TV in the last 2 weeks about gratitude, about stepping into a higher frequency by practicing gratitude, and not as a like, okay, this really stinks, but let me pretend I'm happy about it. That is like putting ice cream on top of poop. That is not going to actually create a vibrational shift in you. It's just kind of pretend. And it's also a frustrating exercise when you do it that way. So last week, I shared a really great exercise, as well as the week before, for like when things are really dense and you're in that like unwanted, how do you use this to create a shift then? And so both of those were really powerful. So I would recommend visiting those as well. Today, I want you to bring into your awareness what is happening with that discord. Now, this could be a past relationship, like, wow, 20 years ago, I had this breakup and I still have hostile feelings about that person. Or if you hear yourself like speaking about your ex with judgment, or you tell the story and you're like, well, the whole reason was because he blah, 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 blah. And you're like making the person wrong, you are carrying density that is destructive to you 100% of the time. And so it would behoove you to like look at that and consider, how can I get this person off the hook so I don't need to keep making them wrong, so I'm no longer creating this discord within me. It doesn't mean you pretend they're the greatest person in the world. It just means you release needing to blame them or make them wrong or make it wrong that it went down the way it did. And it can take a lot of courage to do that as well. Heidi said, I love this gratitude practice. It's helping me take time to tune in and explore, especially on the rough days where the energy feels dense, life-changing for me. Awesome. Yeah, me too. When we're empathic, like you can feel a lot of density and it can be really overwhelming. So that's not great to like not really have a way to move through that fluidly. Paul, hello from BC. Grateful for you and your work. It helps me breathe through the densities, move things out of my body, and connect deeper to my true self. Awesome. Can this be used in relationships from the past? Angelic, thank you. And people who've passed away. Yes. So let's say a certain person is already died. You think like, well, they're over. They've ended. I don't have a relationship with them anymore. It's not true. You're still carrying thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and a lot of energy about that person or that relationship if it's not resolved. And so, yes, this exercise we'll be doing today will absolutely be applicable to those kinds of situations. Alvin, I feel no one is the problem. For my problem is myself. Self-sabotage, guilt, fear, etc. Can I watch it later again, this video? Yes, these are always recorded. And so this brings up a great point, Alvin, because your relationship with yourself is the number one most central focus around which your physiology is spinning, right? If you're in a contracted relationship with yourself, like, I can't forgive that I did this, or, oh, I'm just such a bad person, I keep messing up that. You are literally creating a stress physiology in every moment, and you're even affecting your DNA in a negative way. So you're more likely to be run down, exhausted, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disease, gut dysbiosis. Like it really throws off your gut microbiome, um, and manifest illness. And also, of course, not have that well-being of peace and ease and joy, so that even if you do have physical health, you're really not enjoying yourself on this ride through life. So how do we shift our relationship with ourself? So we're going to look at that as well. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so the first thing in any mind-body medicine practice that I think is really helpful is do the check-in. Drop into your body, feel and sense, where am I functioning from right now? And if all you do is like a 1 to 10 scale, where in this instance, 10 is the high, 1 is the low, and 10 is like, wow, I am feeling grateful. I'm feeling passionate. I'm excited about today. Doesn't necessarily mean there's something particular going on. You just feel a sense of joy. And 1 is, oh my God, I can't even stand listening to this person. Life is such a nightmare. I'm so itchy and irritated from everything. And I'm turned off. So that made me be a 1. So all you're going to do is notice. You can type it in to share it with me, but just the awareness alone is the medicine. Just the awareness actually shifts your relationship with yourself, shifts your electromagnetics, and shifts basically your relationship with everyone else, because they will feel you, usually unconsciously, in a different vibe. They will respond to you in a different way. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. Met Louise, my daughter's in a situation in high school, deliberately left out of the girl group. She's really tried to be nice to them, but they ignore her and attempts to be part of the group. How can she practice gratitude in that situation? I would go back to the one we did 2 weeks ago, which is like, how is this serving me? Because are those actually the people she wants to be with? Is there something else awaiting her that lies beyond that group? Is it deepening her relationship with herself, her level of courage, her level of compassion? She could receive that situation and really grow immensely in compassion. So, maybe she never does anything like that to others and lives with an open heart. But that video we did, we'll share some more on that. How do I release resentment toward a mother who passed away a few months ago? I'm carrying so much guilt over having felt that. Yeah, good to see that, because guilt is such a killer. It's like the silent killer. So it will be great to get yourself off the hook for that. When someone says something unkind, I find myself experiencing sadness, bullying from past experiences. How do I presence this in myself so I can respond with love? Okay. All right. So send me the number of like 10, I'm vibing high, 1, I'm vibing low. Maybe I'm a 5 or 6 or 7, somewhere in between. And the first step, so that's really like the first step, is awareness. And if you're familiar with my work with the instant elevation, the ABC tool, this is the greatest superpower you can possibly cultivate, is bringing my presence and awareness to what's happening within me. Okay, so embodiment, awareness, 1 to 10. Okay, the second piece, and let's just say we got a 3. It's hard not to make a parent wrong for a very traumatic upbringing, even if we're just relaying how it was and not trying to blame. Yeah, I can relate to that all day long. 1, 4, 3. It was 3. Now it's rising. 4, 5, and 6. Awesome. Donna, I'm tensed 24/7 as if a tiger is coming at me. Okay. Lisa, 5. What is right about this? I'm not seeing. Yep. 5, 6, 7, 8. Very grateful for your beautiful answer. Thanks, Matt Louise. Donna, I'm an 8. Facebook, someone in Facebook in between a 6. Gut feels off or something like that. All right. So in this first step, which is just awareness, have your number, you could also mix in sensing what I feel in my body. Like, do I feel, oh, I got punched in the gut? Do I feel a heaviness and pressure on my chest? Do I feel like that, burden and tightness on my shoulders? Or is it just like maybe a fluttering? Maybe it's something vague. Notice what you notice. That's all I'm going to do is drop in. So referent to a specific relationship, because you could just do this in general. Nothing wrong with that. It will still shift energy. But if we want to apply this specifically to a relationship, oh, I can't believe when she does blah, 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 blah. So drop into that moment as if it's happening now and notice what's here. Notice it, give it a number. Liver burning and anger, KR, thank you. Okay, awesome. I'm 10 out of 10 grateful today. This is great. Okay, so 7, 3, 8. All right, so let me just take a moment to do the same. And there may also be a sense of fear, a sense of worry, a sense of sadness. Just noticing. You're not fixing it, you're just observing it. That actually is the medicine. Okay, the second piece is I invite what I am feeling now. I'm a 5. All right, Kim, welcome 5. Here we are at a 5. I love you at a 5. It's okay to be at a 5. Heaviness in my belly, welcome this sensation of heaviness or fluttering, or someone had said earlier, guilt. So physicalize it. What do I actually notice that has me then call it guilt? What do I actually sense that has me make the conclusion that there's guilt here? What is the experience? If you ground in your experience, you're always grounding in the now. So we're going to get out of the head with story and actually get into the now where there's power. My inner child wants to be heard. Yes. So what is actually happening? What am I actually feeling that has me then make that conclusion? This inner part of me that wants to be heard. Welcome what I'm feeling. So just notice. And then the second part of instant elevation is to breathe. So we're just going to breathe into it. As you breathe, invite it. Fear, loneliness, sadness. I cannot identify the emotion. It doesn't matter. Don't get into the head with like, what would I call this? Just go into sensation. Just go into awareness, right? Awareness could be like, there's some kind of weird emotion flying around out here. Just going to notice it. I don't have to name it. Not a problem. Okay. So now I'm going to breathe right into that area. I'm going to welcome what I'm feeling. So basically number 2 is like, feel what you feel. Actually be in the process of having the experience, but consciously choosing to have the experience. This is where the big shift comes from. What do you mean I'm not feeling my anger? I've been angry for 20 years. I feel angry every day. To actually consciously choosing to welcome that anger. So it's not like you're buying into being destructive or anything like that. You're just, here you are, anger. You're welcome here. It's okay for you to be here. So take a few breaths. I'm willing to feel what I feel. I'm willing to feel what I feel. And even in that is a grace of gratitude, which is, it's okay for me to feel what I feel. I'm grateful I'm able to meet myself at this level. Most people are in unthinkable levels of self-avoidance, and that's why they have no power, and that's why they don't generate real change. If you're willing to have the experience that's being had in your system, you're consciously willing to drop into it. I choose to be where I am, as I am, how I am. ABC is the same as the instant elevation technique. Yes, thank you, Hishol. And so I'm willing to drop in and breathe this. I'm willing to be in this experience right now. But the difference is like resisting it versus embracing it. As soon as we drop in, soften our shoulders, breathe into those areas. This is when the energy dissipates. It may at first intensify. You're no longer suppressing it. Maybe it gets louder. Great. Invite that. I promise you it's moving through. Wailing, gut wrenching. Yes, it's moving. Better out than in. Keeps moving in tiny bits. Awesome, Heather. I feel a black veil covered over my whole body as if I'm tangled in a spider web. I fight every feeling. So Donna, for just a moment, welcome the feeling. Here's what happens when I fight it. What if I just soften and let it move through? I'm afraid to actually feel great. Good. See, that's a good thing to notice. So welcome the one who's scared. Sadness, restlessness, irritability. Yeah, thank you, Shaya. Notice what you feel. KR, just thinking and hearing you say willing makes me feel more excited to welcome it in and feels a little more hot and open. Awesome. Awesome. Good. All right. So we're going to breathe through this. And how do we allow a shift? One thing, if you are so bold, I would invite you to is to make this is C, conscious choice, right? I make the conscious choice to let the experience in. I'm breathing this through. I will choose to be in the experience I'm in. That's where the gratitude comes in. Thank you for letting me have a real human experience. Now, the toxicity in our lives of like, why is anger so toxic to the body? Why is fear so detrimental? It's resisting fear. That's detrimental. It's suppressing anger. That's toxic. These emotions are not, this is just energy in motion. It can move through in 12 seconds. The toxicity, the illness, the heaviness is from suppressing these emotions, which is what most people have been doing most of their life. Yes, Angie, it will get easier and easier and easier. Okay, so I consciously choose to welcome this. I'm grateful I get to have a real human experience, even though there's part of me that's like, no way, I don't want to have experience. I just want to feel lightness and ease all the time. This is you choosing to experience what's here is making space for way more lightness and ease, way more, not just a little more, like totally worth it more. I'm grateful for the experience to connect with this part of me in pain. I'm grateful for the experience to see things in a new way, because every relationship is calling us to see things in a new way. And maybe have greater compassion for ourselves, maybe have greater compassion for others. Okay, so again, bringing to your awareness this relationship and everything it has triggered in you. It's only triggering stuff that's already here in your system. It's just stuff in your system that you've been putting a lot of energy into to suppress. And now you want like expansion in your life, greater joy, relationships, love. You can't have that if all your energy is invested into suppression. But you can have it if you get that trigger that comes along and shows you exactly what you're doing. Whoa, I'm feeling pain. Whoa, I'm feeling fear. Welcome that. Thank you for triggering the shit out of me, because better out than in. I'm ready. It's showing me exactly what I'm ready to let go. Did I learn to make myself wrong? Guilt and shame. Did I learn to judge, which is going to be pressure? Did I learn I'm not enough? I'm not good enough. I'm lacking. So you're going to feel fear, anxiety, worry. I'm separate. I'm fending for myself out here. I'm not resourced. This is beautiful advice and technique. I love the choice of your words. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Yes, this will be available as a recording on YouTube as well as in the MindBody community and Facebook. Okay. Donna, I'm grateful I have my husband, my parents, and my family now. I accept this bullshit and let it go. Sometimes we need to go deeper to create the shift. Okay, so one of the things we can do to enhance that relationship, and first practice going deeper in all of our relationships. So one tool I've learned that's so powerful is when we do a gratitude, like, someone packs your groceries and bags them at the grocery store. Now, sometimes we're not even noticing that person. Sometimes we notice them and say, thank you. But what I'm going to invite you to today is a lot more potent, and it will carry over to all your relationships. When we do this practice, it opens our heart and it opens our energy centers. So people can feel us more and connect with us more deeply. And so someone bags your groceries and you can literally tell them, thank you so much. This makes my day so much easier. Here I am with my kid, doing my thing, going from A to B. Oh my gosh, you just made my life so much easier that I didn't even have to think about that. Thank you so much. Maybe it's something like, I was on the phone the other day And if you're ever on like those recorded lines with some kind of like low frequency institution and you're like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this. I had to call this company because I ordered a gift for my brother-in-law who just got married. And when it arrived, there was some damage. So I called the company to just resend it. Now I thought like click and point, I'd find the email, send it in. Hey, could you just resend the item? But no, that was not available. So then I had to get on a chat and I'm like 15 minutes now waiting on this chat with a person. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get in the car and get going to my next thing. So I called the number on the phone, which like, if you know me at all, there are a few things that get my goat as much as like having to get on the phone on one of those, oh, like those automated recording, press a button. You are the 85th person in line. And you're like, oh my God, I got to sit here and like listen to this crazy elevator music and wait for you to do me this thing. So I was feeling so pissed and so grungy. And what happened was the person came on and was trying to help sort out the situation. And then they had to put me on hold and go find this and that and then come back. And I was so in the energy of like being right about what a pain in the ass this was, being right about how inconvenienced I was, being right about how shitty customer service you have, being right about whatever it was. Like, what is it in me that wants to like be justified in being pissed? Right. So here I am driving and realizing like, wait a minute, shake that off. How could I create an awesome situation? So I used gratitude to remember, like, elevate your situation. And I said, you know what? I just want to thank you so much for being on the phone with me. I've been trying to handle this for 20 minutes and really frustrated, but I'm really grateful. Like I have a person and, you know, that you even care to address what's going on. Like, thank you so much. This is really making my life easier. Right. So if you add the why, you're activating your grat. So when Donna said, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my kids, that's great. But like, let's like give it a little oomph. Let's beef it up. Let's ignite that gratitude to have some real power. I'm grateful for my husband because blah, 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 right? I'm grateful for my children. It gives me an opportunity to grow in love. I'm grateful for fill in the blank and then add the why. So I shared with this person, I'm really grateful you're here to assist me. It's been a frustrating process and I would love to have this completed in a smooth, easy way. So you always have to like flip it from like what you don't want to what you do want, which actually is one of the tools in the MindBody toolkit. I think it's number 2, focus on what you do want, and then like really creative ways of how to convert that. Because life's a lot of times going to get your attention on what you don't want. And then, you know, if you just try to like do the gratitude thing, it's like putting ice cream on top of poop. How do I actually create an electromagnetic shift? How do I actually flip this into the higher possibility? So if you don't already have a copy of the MindBody Toolkit, drkimd.com/book. It is really powerful, really simple. It's also an awesome, awesome holiday gift. If you have anybody you need a holiday gift for, it's available on Amazon or at drkimd.com/book. So there we have it there. The audiobook is coming out maybe in a few months. So we're working on that now as well. All right. So now we begin to activate our relationships and activate the gratitude. Okay, my nanny had made us breakfast and, hey, thank you. This is so good. We always really, because it's such a powerful thing. Like we're so grateful. We're so thankful. We have help with our kids. We have help with our lives. Like, oh my gosh. Right. And there's nothing worse than like living in an awesome thing, but like you don't actually receive it. So you're like, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed versus like, wait a minute, let me let in every little morsel of goodness that's around me, because I guarantee you, no matter where your life is right now, there's more morsels of goodness and gift than your system is currently letting in. So we'll go on and on about like how amazing the food tastes, how grateful we are. Like we have the ease of eating this delicious meal and like moving on to our work day or our workout or something, that's really important to us, and being so supported and so nourished it makes life so potent and so powerful. And I'm so grateful and thankful. So now I've like really ignited a moment. I'm letting in and extracting so much out of that one thing. Even with our children, my 4-year-old's like, oh, you got dressed. I'm so glad you got dressed because you're doing things for yourself. We're all working together. We can get, our morning going smoothly. It feels so great when you put your socks on. So in your relationships or in those casual interactions, like someone bags your groceries or a person on the phone helping you out, can you do the thank you and why? Thank you for helping me. It made my life so much easier to just like have the fluidity of having the bags already packed up and they're already in my cart. And I don't even have to think about it. It made one thing in my day so much easier. Now, it may sound like I'm embellishing, like it's just groceries, Kim, but do this. I'm telling you, if you begin to activate that gratitude, you are going to see unthinkable things happen in your life. And you're making a real heart connection with one person. You might not even know that person's name on the phone or grocery store, but it is shifting you electromagnetically. Are you more or less likely to, say hi to the person you pass in the parking lot? You're already open. You're consciously or unconsciously feeling them more fully. And you'll feel the presence kind of unconsciously of other people's need. Sometimes you don't even know why you're saying what you're saying. And the person will say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to hear. And the only reason that happened is because your energy centers were open. How do you open your energy centers? Gratitude and why. Okay. And gratitude doesn't have to be happy, pappy, fluffy. Oh, this is great. Right. When you're actually maybe feeling like, whoa, my kid is getting bullied. What's great about this? So you've got to start to open. All right. What could be the benefit of my having this experience if there was one? Is it opening to me more compassion? Is it opening me to see myself and how I could do some things differently? Because sometimes if we're like a people pleaser, we get bullied. We get, walked all over. And you realize like, all right, you know what? Thank you for walking all over me. I didn't realize I was just kind of throwing my energy out there. And that what I really want to do is this. And so you honor yourself more fully, giving from your true heart instead of just like doing what you think everyone wants you to do. I want to say one more thing about this. Okay. Sometimes when we open in our relationship and look at what's here, like with someone really close to us, there's pain. And it doesn't feel like a grateful thing. Like, I'd rather just not feel my pain. Thank you very much. But that's where you want to look at, do I want to continue to live in closure where, yeah, I don't feel my pain and it feels very convenient, but I actually don't access my power and create the life I really do want? Right? Would I rather walk around in life in closure or be open? Be open to new possibilities, be open to being resourced, loved, nurtured, and fed, be open to amazing things coming in I never knew were possible. And so that's your conscious choice. And you could stay in choice A, and life's going to keep kind of showing you what that creates, because closure is going to create more closure. And when we're ready to open, yes, we'll begin to feel more fully. And the first things we start to feel are the things we've suppressed the most. So it might be uncomfortable, but remember where you're going. I'm grateful. I'm open enough to even be aware of my emotions. I'm grateful. I'm open enough to even feel what's actually happening in the moment. So, we all have people in our lives who really don't feel anything and they march along like everything's good. Everything's good. But they actually aren't contributing. They actually aren't accessing power. And, if you're ready to live beyond that, it's not going to cut it for you, staying closed. What if the pain is super strong? Lyme disease, co-infections. How do I go into gratitude? So this is also what we addressed a couple of weeks ago, which was really powerful. But if when I open, what I feel is powerlessness, hopelessness, can be really overwhelming when you're told you have Lyme disease and a bunch of co-infections and you got to do all these things. And here's, the answer. It's going to take a long time. And you feel like heavier and heavier as you're listening, like, oh, what the experience is calling you into is to meet these points in you where you bought into your powerlessness, where you bought into hopelessness. And the emotion or the sensation is going to have you become aware of that so you can make a new choice. What if it's not true for me? What if things could shift very swiftly, but I'd have to move through this powerlessness and help it release from my body? Because if you're carrying powerlessness around, your experiences are going to reflect that powerlessness. Your relationships are going to reflect that powerlessness. So can I be grateful that a circumstance is coming in to have me meet this depth that I thought was just too big? I can't possibly surrender to this and let it move through, but it's actually not. You are powerful enough to let that move through. Or a trigger, a person who comes along and tells me, you only care about yourself, blah, 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 or whatever they have to say that really gets my goat. Thank you for triggering me. Thank you for showing me the unhealed wounds in me, because my higher commitment is to live in wholeness. No one can do that for you. Is that your choice? So ultimately, again, the choice is, do I want to live in closure or do I choose to live in openness? Do I choose to live in receptivity? Those are the only choices. I'm either in closure or receptivity in every moment. Use the ABC to guide yourself there. Use the gratitude practice to open yourself there, because it's only when we're in receptivity that we can allow resources, that we can receive nurturance, that we can come into a higher frequency and consciousness. Yes. It's a beautiful, oh, thank you. I'm ready to let go. Donna, I'm grateful. I have my husband, my parents, my family, and I now accept. Yes, I think I read that one already. My arms feel an overwhelming pressure and nerves when I felt shame. It's hard to regulate on my own without a safe person being present. Don't try to regulate. Don't try to regulate. The act of embracing the energy and emotions will regulate you, right? Because it's a non-resistant state. You don't need to regulate your nervous system. What you need to do is become aware of where you're holding resistance and breathe into that so it can release and dissolve. It's really always about making a new choice. In allowing the gratitude, I can see the past story separating from the relationship of the present. Awesome. And you know what else too? The people who trigger us the most are usually just triggering something bigger in our past. Like that relationship you have that feels, because sometimes you have such a huge trigger and you're like, this is like really core in me. Wow, this is 40 years old from maybe my upbringing or something way, way, way before this person. And so that's when you can really become grateful for, like, thank you for showing me this unhealed wound of what was ready to move in me today, what was ready to dissolve. So practice this, practice the gratitude and the why with everyone you encounter today, whether it's like your kid's school teacher. I love our school. We have this amazing school, like out in the country. It's peaceful. People are authentic. They're present when you speak to them. They really, really care about the kids, and the teachers are like in their body. They are right here. So when we've seen her teacher or the administration, like, the administrator, we tell them how much we love the school and why. And we've activated such a powerful connection with all of those individuals. So now when we go there, we feel really good. When we leave there, we feel really good. Who are you going to encounter today? Is there a coworker? And you could say, like, hey, I really love sitting next to you because it feels peaceful when I'm in your presence. I don't know, what would it be? Hey, it's really great working with you because, you always get things done in a timely manner, and it really makes me feel taken care of. Find some little nugget, even if it seems like a negative thing, like, oh, I'm grateful for you in my life because it really brings stuff up for me that I would otherwise ignore. But I'm a better person for embracing, what I feel. That one might take a lot of courage. All right. I hope that today was useful. Angelic's asking, what about people with a personality disorder like autism or borderline, or when all interactions are negative? Well, it's the same thing for every interaction. And we always can make choices about, how do I relate to this person? Do I make it wrong? Do I make them wrong? Do I make up the story like, I don't have a choice, I have to be with this person? Or do I begin to realize, all right, some part of me orchestrated this, that this was unavoidable, because I meant to embrace something within this interaction. Because sometimes we buy into victimhood. Oh, but I can't get away from them, and I should get away from them. And when you look at it, if the way life's arranged itself is truly that you're inextricably linked and you're going to interact with this person, you want to begin to look at, if there were a gift here for me, what would it be? Just make it up. Make it up, because your wisdom will come through that way. All right. I know there's nothing good about this, but if there were something good about it, it might be, just let it come through, because it's going to show you something you weren't previously able to see. I know everyone isn't ready for this level, but play with it. If all you get from this is just that little nugget of opening your relationships by the gratitude and why, with your kid, with someone you're, crossing paths with in your day, someone is a coworker or someone at the store, or who knows what it could be. Or in your mind, right? Like, okay, cops in Durango are generally really, really kind. And like, if you get pulled over, they'll be super, super respectful. And, even if they give you a ticket, you feel like a sense of like, I really feel like this person wants to take care of our community. When I lived in Boston, or God, when I lived in Atlanta, it was not like that at all. And so when I think about something like that, like, wow, I'm really grateful I live in a place where I really feel cared for. People are genuine. That's igniting. That's enough to ignite that openness in your energy centers. So you don't even have to have the person here now. Start playing with this. Play with that person who maybe has died, and you're in a situation of like, whoa, I'm carrying all of this guilt. I'm carrying whatever you're carrying, and have a conversation with them. Put their higher self in front of you and move into the same thing, move into the same acknowledgement. I'm grateful this has brought up this pattern of noticing where I make myself wrong, because I'm ready to let this go, right? Maybe give them their energy back. Take your energy back. There's a lot of things you can do in relationships, relationship with yourself, relationship with others, but start activating this power within you and play with this. Let me know. Shia said, I'm grateful for you and your live broadcasts, because it's benefited me and gives me hope for more healing. Thank you guys for being such great receivers. I know it's not easy, especially with gratitude, because we do think of it as this super high frequency thing that can be unattainable, but don't make it that. When I embrace where I am, as I am, how I am, that's the same thing. I'm willing to have this experience. I'm willing to let this in. I'm willing to be fully alive in this moment, even if what I feel is uncomfortable. At 60, I'm grateful to have both my elderly parents, a true blessing. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just peek through if there's any other nuggets. Thank you guys. We'll be here every morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Time from MindBody TV. We do have some really exciting things coming up, as well as some guest speakers. And we will be announcing soon our January live event. It's a virtual event that will happen the weekend of the 20th. Stay tuned for that. Be subscribed at drkimd.com if you would like information on that, as well as the invitation to join us live virtually. We do also have the Instant Elevation full course online if you'd like to go much deeper with this work. In that course, I guide you through the integration of these tools, the integration of the tools that are in the MindBody Toolkit in the book, as well as a lot more activation in your body, in your cellular, in your frequency. So if you feel like things in my life aren't changing, and I'm working really hard to like change my health with an autoimmune disease or chronic fatigue syndrome or Lyme with co-infections or whatever have you, your physiology has the ability to shift that. And the Instant Elevation course is a great place to start to empower yourself and really have a full resolution. Some people have had a full resolution just from doing the course, reading the book. Like, the power is within you. You tap into it. So welcome whatever resources are here, and say yes if that is resonating. So So that's at drkimd.com/IEP, Instant Elevation Program. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you next week, which is Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving for those who are in the US. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, everybody.